What's up, you bow-legged bitches? We're back. We got a big Premier League and Champions League update for you. First up, Tuesday, Champions League.
Yep.
No, Wednesday. Sorry. Wednesday, Champions League.
Wednesday.
United played not very well.
1-1 Atletico.
But 1-1 draw nonetheless. So, I mean, we didn't...
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
We didn't have a good game. For about 80 minutes, we played like shit, and then for the last 10 minutes, we played okay. Alanga really coming through and scoring a probably the biggest goal of the season so far for us, really. Other than some of the Ronaldo ones, maybe, but at this stage in the Champions League, the whole team has to perform, and they didn't. Alanga stepped up, got us the goal we needed, and now we're 1-1 going into Old Trafford in a couple weeks.
Yeah. Two teams struggling, you could say, in their domestic leagues. Maybe not struggling, but not where they're expected to be. Both teams definitely, I guess you could say, struggling.
Yeah.
Atletico in La Liga are all over the place. United this year,
Same story.
Yeah. We don't know what we're going to get out of them, but that game was... Atletico looked really good the first half. The second half, it switched a little bit. Good goal from Alanga. Ajax and Benfica drawing 2-2 as well. Didn't get a chance to watch that game. Ajax have been pretty dominant so far in the Champions League this year, given their group wasn't the greatest, and they are playing. It is Benfica, and they're not their strongest in the Champions League, but it's still the Champions League nonetheless. They're a Champions League team.
Yep.
They're doing really well this year. Haller with an own goal and getting a goal for himself.
He had to even it up, really.
Had to even it up. 2-2 though. Premier League. Straight into it. Tottenham coming back, getting a 4-0 win over Leeds after a disappointing loss to Burnley.
Conte really wanted to emphasize that he is a good manager still, and
and kind of threw his players under the bus after the last performance. Was kind of blaming it on them, everything that went wrong. He's all these players, they aren't good enough. Basically,
it's the history of the club.
Yeah, it's the history of the club.
Chiellini-esque.
He said that that the players stay the same, but the managers come and go. So what's the actual problem there?
Right.
A bit of a dig at his players, but also at the same time, the players are kind of ass.
But
they've been going in and out of managers, and they need to get it together. Some of those players probably just aren't good enough for Tottenham.
But you did see Kane and Son break the all-time record for the most goals combined.
Yeah, between two players.
Goal contributions.
Yeah.
Between two players. So good for them.
Really impressive. There's two really talented players, and their chemistry together it's honestly unmatched.
But like you said, the rest of the team probably just not good enough.
No.
A couple other 10 o'clock games that we didn't really care too much a lot about. You'll see them. You would have seen them already.
We already had to go by.
But United, we did end up drawing. Another
0-0.
0-0 against Watford. Absolutely dominated the game, really, from start to finish. I don't think Watford deserved a point, but we were just so unclinical, like we were against Middlesbrough, Burnley, Southampton. I mean, we keep seeing these same things happen over and over. We're just missing chance after chance. Our XG was over 3. And
that first half was crazy. They were attack, going after him.
Yeah.
Usually everybody's like, oh yeah, United waits till late in the game to win it. But like early in the game, they had the opportunity to essentially win the game.
Second minute, Ronaldo hits the post. I mean, what else are you going to do? From then on, I kind of just felt like it was going to be one of those games. And here sitting after, it was one of those games where we just couldn't put the ball in the back of the net. And we paid for it by losing 2 points.
It was really disappointing for real to see from United. I thought they had that win. Seeing how well they were attacking, and toward the end of the game, they had Paul Pogba in midfield, Varane and Lindelof behind him, and everyone else was front forward trying to get into the box and everything, but just wasn't enough. City, 1-0 win over Everton. It was a tight one. A little bit of a controversial win. Some calls, some decisions, explanations, and such. 1-0 win nonetheless. Foden, he's at the right place at the right time. The center forward role suiting him. Yeah, you could see him interchanging a lot this game. He wasn't primarily center forward today.
Yeah.
But he was definitely, getting in the right spaces, and he got in the right space off of a mistake from, I guess you could Holgate,
it was definitely a mistake for Michael Keane more than
Holgate went to go get in the way of it, and understandably that's what you do as a defender. But when he did do that, he did make a mistake in the way it bounced right to Keane, and obviously Keane wasn't really expecting that. But when you see the ball right in front of you like that, we both expected Keane to do more
better
with it.
You really got to do better with that. I mean,
yeah, you have to clear it there,
and that's why he plays for Everton.
Yeah,
and that's why they're 16th.
Yeah,
I mean, they just can't catch a break really this year.
Absolute shambles
and
for
then
Everton.
Just when you think that they'll be able to snatch a point back from them, just a horrendous offside that in turn means that they don't get the handball that was so blatantly obvious. Rodri. What a fucking idiot, though. Like, bro, what is he doing?
When I watch that, it's just like, I give so much praise for Rodri on here, and I always will, and he's so good, but
I'd take him at United.
Bruh.
He'd easily slide in.
What are you thinking? Like, so not only he wasn't pressured, there was no Everton players around him pressuring him. There were City players around him yelling at him, like Ruben Diaz.
Support.
Like, and I think Ruben saw him hit it with his arm and shouted at him like, "You fucking idiot!
You what, mate? Like what? Like what are you doing?"
And it was just really interesting choice of action by Rodri, considering the circumstances around him. And he could have just let the ball fall to the ground. He could have just let it hit the ground, then control it, and then make a decision. But he wanted to control it too quickly and decided to hit it with his, like, under his sleeve. Honestly,
it wasn't even on the
ball
sleeve.
Was under his sleeve. And thankfully, though, there was an offside beforehand that got it called back. But watching it when they didn't give the penalty for it, I was astounded that they didn't. But until they explained that it was because there was an offside beforehand.
Which still, I mean, yes, there's an offside, but how many times do we see players be offside, the linesman not call it, and then they go down and they get a corner from it?
I think it just shows
it all the time. They just pick and choose when they use VAR.
I think it's really shows today. It showed a lot of faults with the English officiating system all throughout England, in the Premier League especially. The officiating is not good enough. It's not up to standard of what we'd want as fans, especially when it comes to VAR. I understand how it gets so much. There's not necessarily
a lot of technical stuff.
It's not black and white with officiating, and I get that, but decisions with the VAR are just insane. It's just too inconsistent, and they need to find a consistency that everybody can understand, at least more than what we are understanding of the laws. Because it seems like when I watch the games and certain things happen, I'm like, well, it could go this way or it could go this way. It's just kind of like, you know what I mean?
And also with the handball rule, it's not consistent. We've seen it change the last couple of years to where offensively, if you have any part of your arm touch the ball in an attacking sense and a goal is scored from it, it was automatically called back. But now, it doesn't matter.
Which I think is probably a good rule.
Right, and now that if it's intentional, but how do you determine intent? I mean, you can't watch the screen and determine whether he really meant to do that. I mean, not to really take it back to United a couple of weeks ago, but we saw that Middlesbrough goal that he legitimately scored with his arm, or after touching the ball with his arm. So it's like, there's no consistency. If you're a defender, you get away with a lot more than when you're an attacker. So it's like, let's just see some fucking relevancy and consistency across the board. But
it's really frustrating to see, for sure, especially from a fan's point of view. When you want the best team to win every time, and you want the right cause. And yeah, like I said, it's not all black and white with officiating, but has to be more consistency.
That's all we got. We do have a couple of games tomorrow, including the EFL Cup, Carabao Cup, whatever the fuck you want to call it. We'll let you know what ends up happening with that. Liverpool and Chelsea.
Big final.
Enjoy your meme. I hope they both tie. Go fuck yourself.